Okay, and it says unable to stream your webinar to Facebook. Oh my God. All right, and we are live.
Okay, after some technical issues, we are making this happen. Not live, but recorded. So we are starting over, and happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of Change School TV, our weekly dose of inspiration for your Monday mojo and mindset reset for the week ahead. Now, if you missed us last week, we wrapped up a full month of talks around fears. And last week's episode was all around the second biggest fear that we hear the most about when it comes to making big, bold leaps in your life and career, which is the fear of losing financial security. So Grace and I shared why money fears tend to hinder us from achieving our full potential, how to transform your money mindset, and tips for getting on top of your money game before you actually have to. So that was last month, and tonight we are kicking off a whole new month with a whole new theme all around being bold in your life and your work. So we're on episode 29, and tonight we're going to share exactly what it means to be bold in your career, what we mean at the Change School when we talk about making a bold career move, and we're going to talk about how and why a career pilot can help to launch you into a bold career journey without having to take any big risks or major decisions right away. So just before we dive in, I want to give you guys a bit of a lowdown on everything we've got coming up this month, because we have an action-packed few weeks ahead with lots of value packed into a whole bunch of freebies that are going to be coming your way. So if you're watching this and you have a pen or Post-it in front of you, just jot this down so you don't forget. This week, on Wednesday, that's 2 days from today, we have our free 5-day challenge for how to clearly vision your bold career move. So we ran this last year. It was a roaring success. This year, we're doing it again, not live, but they will be recorded so that you have lifetime access. So we'll share more about that later on, but just so you know, this Wednesday kicks off our 5-day visioning challenge. Also, next Monday, we won't be here on Change School TV, unfortunately, but that is because we will be doing a free series of master classes led by Grace and myself, starting this Saturday all the way till next Saturday. And then we'll come back right here, same time, same channel the following week. So I'll recap that again later, but all you need to write down now is that we've got free master classes all next week, starting this Saturday. And then last but not least, you've probably heard us say it lots and lots over the past few weeks, but May 14th is our official enrollment date for our 6-week online course, How to Confidently Create Your Bold Career Moves. So definitely mark your calendars for this one. We'll be announcing when we're officially open. Anyone on our early interest list gets first notice and first dibs. So I'll remind you of that again right at the very end, but just note that down while you've got your pen handy. So hopefully you've got all of that down, and in case not, no worries. We will share the links again later on, and you'll see our beautiful faces all over Facebook once we figure out our technical issues, to give you little reminders of everything we've got coming up. So what else have we got? Okay, I think we're ready to dive in. Right, Grace?
We are perfect. So awesome. We're going to get started because, you know, we really want to share what we've got with you today. And it's a topic that we've spoken about before, you know, or that we tend to talk about quite a lot because it's extremely important. And right now, as we're focusing on the career segment, you know, it's one of the things that is always on our mind, and that, you know, is really in the area that we love working in as well. So what is a bold career move? Okay, so we really want to clarify this right off the bat. What we mean by bold, right? What do we mean by bold career move? And right now you're probably seeing bold this, bold that, bold, you know, everywhere, because I seem to be seeing that word bold everywhere right now. But at the Change School, being bold is a mindset, right? It's really about living and breathing, and it's a way of doing and being the things, you know, in our professional and personal life, or in our personal and professional career. And it's really about taking that conscious and calculated risks, or those conscious and calculated risks to really challenge the status quo and drive you to be more, to do more in both life and work. And for us, you know, being bold is about having that self-confidence to try things out, to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, right? To be able to learn and grow and make mistakes, but be okay and get back up on your feet. It's definitely something that everyone's not going to be 100% comfortable with at first. It may make you feel uneasy. It may make you feel uncertain, but being bold is really not about playing it safe, right? And that's not playing it safe in life or your professional career as well. And, you know, in order to be bold, you really need to be comfortable or brave enough to put yourself out there, right? You need to have that confidence to exude that you're going to put yourself out there, even if it's a little bit of fake it till you make it, right? But the goal is also for you to face your fears and, you know, and doubts and really move forward with courage. And everyone needs a bit of courage, if not lots of courage. And there's no better time than now to start doing that. So when you're making a career change, it's a scary move. And for many of the people that we work with, you know, it's definitely a, you know, something that takes a while for people to get comfortable with, right? And so making that career switch is definitely a big, bold career move, but it's not the only way that you need to be bold in your career, right? And it's not the only way that we should be bold in our career. But the thing is that you have to be bold to move forward in your career. You have to be able to keep growing, keep learning, advancing yourself personally and professionally. And you also more so need to want it, right? The desire for you to want to do it should be there, because we can give you all these tools. We can tell you what being bold is, but you really need, in order for change to happen, you need to have that desire, that underlying desire to really make that bold move, right? And take the steps to start going there. So you have to be bold to be successful in your career, because let's just face it, how many opportunities just fall on your lap? I mean, maybe some of us are lucky, or maybe some of us are super connected to, you know, the higher universe, and things just fall on our lap every day. And if that's you, that's wonderful. We'd love to hear your story. But, right, in order to be successful in your career, we need to be bold. It's about taking charge of your future and building those building blocks, right, every day, little by little, and slowly letting it grow into the direction that we want. And in order to thrive in your career, you also have to be bold, right? And that's why more and more people are also talking about personal leadership. Because if you're not leading yourself, no one else is going to, right? And at the end of the day, we really need to be able to understand that we are the only ones that are going to be able to change the direction that we want to go in, and, you know, move through the ups and downs in whatever way we can with as much boldness as possible. So that's why all of the work that we do at the Change School is really about self-empowerment. It's really about having, you know, the clarity and the confidence and courage to unlock the bold in you, and really being able to live and breathe who it is that you are and what it is that you stand for, so that you can start making the right choices. Okay. And, you know, I want to share a couple other things before we sort of move into one of our courses or share a bit more about our course. But everyone and anyone can be bold. It's really a matter of choice. So we're not just saying this because we think that, you know, we're bold, but we have our moments of unboldness as well. But the thing is that everyone and anyone can be bold. It really is a matter of choice, right? And the other is choosing comfort over challenge might feel like it's safer, you might feel happier, but at the same time, you're going to be stagnant. If we don't keep pushing forward, right, you're going to stay where you are, and no one thrives in stagnation. And we should not want to stay where we are. We should constantly be looking to grow or move forward or move sideways or whatever way we need to move, right? But we should really try and not stay in the same position that we are. The other is that choosing to be complacent in your career definitely tends to be the easier option for a lot of people. And we see this a lot with the people that we work with or that we speak to. And, you know, it takes that little bit of courage and boldness to just take that next step, because nothing worth having ever comes easily, right? And if you value yourself and if you value your career, then you will definitely want to look at value investing in your future, because that's the only thing that we can do for certain is investing in ourselves, right? And growing ourselves both personally and professionally, mentally, physically and spiritually. And not enough people put emphasis on value investing on themselves. So the other thing is, choosing for the perfect, waiting for the perfect moment and opportunity to come your way instead of giving yourself permission to think and act now is actually one of the greatest risks, career risks of all. So in today's job market, we can't just live and work by default. It's no longer sufficient for success. So what we want to throw out today is, how are you building your future right now? How are you building your future? Just have a think about that and let us know, share it with us after you've watched this episode. And we're always interested to hear, where you're going, what you're struggling with, etc. Okay, so I've just shared a lot about what being bold means, why self-empowerment is really important for us, and why being bold is important to you, and how you can sort of start thinking about how you're going to be a little bit bolder and start taking action to move forward. But it might feel overwhelming or intimidating at first, and that's not what we want you to feel. However, we know that is how most people feel, and that's why we've designed this 6-week online course. It's an immersive online course, and it's really to help you confidently create your bold career move. That's why the title, Confidently Create Your Bold Career Move. So, our 6-week course is going to help you make that bold career move. And as we emphasized, I think it was last week, it doesn't necessarily mean externally from your organization that you're in right now. It could be internally within your organization. I think that's something that we really want to, talk about or share in the way that we talk about career move, because everyone instantly thinks career move means getting out of your organization, right? But there's a lot of opportunities, or there's ways that you might enjoy moving in your organization. So how do we do it? Okay. In this 6-week course to help you move careers, right? We help by cultivating the time for you to, carving out the time for you to cultivate your mind for the bold journey that you are going to design, because it's your life and you're going to design it. We're going to help you. We're going to help cultivate your mind and get ready for it, right? We're going to guide you through the bold baby steps to achieve your big, bold dream, right? Every bold dream starts with baby, bold steps. And then we also have providing a support system and group that's going to keep you thriving and thriving, striving and thriving all the way. And also help you develop an action plan where you can start test driving your ideas with a career pilot. And before you start asking what a career pilot is, don't worry. Sol is going to take over the mic and start sharing all about what the hell a career pilot is.
Awesome, cool. So, okay, before I actually jump into what a career pilot is, I think that, like you said, Grace, we don't want people to feel overwhelmed, but it is inevitable when you're thinking about being bold, right? Or when you're trying to do anything courageous, it always comes with a little sense of risk and a little fear, so that's totally natural. But I do want to highlight 3 big career myths that I think need to be eliminated right now, because this is going to help anybody who's watching and still suffering those niggling sort of doubts or in the back of your mind that are saying, a bold career move sounds great, but probably not something I'm going to do. So let's see if these 3 myths we're about to debunk can help you get into action, which is, of course, how we're going to wrap up tonight's episode, as always. But okay, career myth number 1 is that you need prior relevant experience in order to change careers. Now, this is for people who are looking to change careers, and I just want to debunk this one right now. It's totally wrong. It's wrong because you already have tremendous value in your personal characteristics, in who you are, in your traits, in all the life and work experiences you've had, everything you've learned from all those experiences. Those have given you a unique set of transferable skills, and your experiences are always going to be applicable to the next thing. If you look at, sort of every job and every experience you have as a stepping stone, right, into the fuller picture of your career. So point is, you already have everything you need. What most people struggle with or lack is a framework or a set of tools or a support system that can help them, one, to see their value and to understand what they already have, and then to package it and help you position yourself in a way that makes it super, super clear to other people how you can add value to their organization or to their initiatives or to their projects or even to their team. So that's myth number one that you can just delete from your self-limiting beliefs right now. Myth number two is that you should already know what you want to do next. Wrong again. So you do not need to have all the answers from the get-go. And frankly, if it was that easy, we would all be having the perfect career from day zero and Change School would be out of business. So the only thing that you can possibly know right now, or at any point that you find yourself at a crossroads, is understanding where your strengths lie, what you enjoy to do, what really makes you tick, what are your interests, and the slightly tougher question, or not even tougher, it just takes more time to reflect on, is, how do you intend to grow in your career? That one takes a little bit more time simply because it's not something we're always thinking about. So it's not a trick question, but it is meant to make you reflect and think and feel your way to your next direction. So that's myth number two. You do not need to already know what you want to do next to be bold in your career. Myth number three, and this is the last one I'm going to address tonight, is that changing careers means giving up everything you've achieved. Absolutely not. This is actually the worst myth of all, I think, because I am a firm believer that no experience is ever a waste, whether it's a good one, a bad one, an ugly one. We don't realize it at the time. We seldom appreciate it at the time, especially if it feels like a negative experience. But when you look back and you connect the dots, you realize that we're always learning and growing from everything that we've experienced. So that means you have only more value, more lessons, more things to bring into your new experiences and opportunities. And it's just a matter of, are we taking that into consideration when we think about our value and what we can bring to new career directions? So those are the three myths that I just wanted to debunk, and I hope that helps you to settle your mind a little bit as you think about how you can rethink what it means to be bold in your career and, kick those doubts in the butt and start getting into action. And just so you guys know, we have our series of free masterclasses next week specifically created around those three career myths. So I'm going to share more on that later, but if those 3 points really spoke to you, or if it's something that's causing you to feel like you're sitting on the fence, then stick around to the very end of this episode so that you can hear more about what we've got in store in the masterclasses. Okay, so enough rambling on that side. Let's get into what the hell a career pilot is. So for those of you who aren't familiar, the pilot is a term that we've borrowed from the lean startup method, because not in a techie way, but in all other ways, we are actually startup geeks. And we really do believe that your career should be and can be treated like a startup. So what does that mean? That means that it's about having an idea, or maybe having lots of ideas, or maybe even just having a half-baked idea, but then making a hypothesis out of whatever ideas you already have. So a really simple example could be, my hypothesis might be, I could run a medium-sized company like a boss. I think I'd be amazing at it. It's not something I'm doing right now, but it's something I think I'd be amazing at. Okay, that is an example of a very positive hypothesis that you might make for yourself, because it comes from an idea that you have about your abilities, your strengths, and something you would enjoy to do. So then the final step with a pilot is to then get out there and put that idea or assumption or hypothesis to the test. And you do that through experimentation, through learning, and through refining as you go. So rather than what we're used to, which is like thinking all the time and then maybe taking an action, or never taking an action and then thinking some more, right? The whole idea behind a career pilot is that you act first, then you reflect, think, refine, and do the whole thing over and over again. So you know, the whole reason Lean Startup was created as a method was to help startup founders avoid wasting time, energy, and effort on building a whole business based on an assumption or an idea that wasn't valid or wasn't proven in a sense, right? So the aim is to help them avoid taking on unnecessary risk, especially financial risk. And in a similar way, it's exactly why we recommend piloting your career, especially if you're thinking about what that next step could be, what that bold iteration of your current career could look like, right? So we always know that saying, you know, look before you leap. So in the same breath, it's like, why would you risk making a big, bold career leap without looking to see what's possible for your career first, right? And kind of de-risking that whole process for yourself. And that's really why we talk about needing a career pilot, and we emphasize it so much, and we've built a whole course around it for 6 weeks, because we really believe that if you don't create the room to experiment with your career, you'll never be able to see your full potential or see the possibilities from your career just by sitting at your desk or working the same job or sticking to the same path. You know, if you don't kind of step out of that perspective, you never get to see anything else. So I think it's really about trying to make that mental shift and trying to see your career as one big grand experiment that you get to design and you get to carve and you get to follow and test and see what works and see what doesn't work. And it's really that gap in potential, that opportunity to really achieve more, like Grace said, to do more and to be more. That's really our big push behind, you know, talking about bold and talking about risk taking and, you know, really pushing for this whole idea of a career pilot, which I know is new and might sound a little funky, but if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. So now that we've hopefully at least shed some light on why we think a career pilot is so essential for starting a bold journey, we're going to share just a few simple ideas off the top of our minds about how you could get started with a career pilot or what it could look like, because it's probably much simpler than you might have in your mind right now. So one example is informational interviews. This is like one of these things that I think is really, really not emphasized enough in a lot of the resources that we have available to us around career building. And I think it also depends on cultural context, where you are in the world. In some places it's more common, in other places it's not. But the great thing about informational interviews is that you're not just networking and meeting people for no reason. It's very targeted conversations. You're thinking carefully about which companies or brands or you know, industry leaders or influencers that you can access and are able to speak to get secondhand insights about an organization, about, you know, their career path, how they got to where they are, or maybe just to help you make new connections and contacts, right? And I think the beauty of the informational interview is that you're not necessarily going for a job, you're going for information. That really changes the dynamic, right? You will be more confident, you can be more forward in some of the questions that you ask, and the person you're speaking to will probably also feel more comfortable just sharing general information because you're not after them for a job per se. So, you know, committing to a week or even 2 weeks of just meeting people and having informational interviews can be the start of a career pilot that's really positive and beneficial for you to move forward in a bold career. Another example is job shadowing or interning. Now, interning we might be more familiar with in these parts, so in Southeast Asia in general. Job shadowing may be more in the States and Europe and Australia, but that's really where you get to work with an organization, and in some cases it's paid, sometimes it's a stipend, sometimes it's no pay. Whatever it is, the value is that you get firsthand experience on what it's like to work with an organization, with a team, or in a certain industry. So that's always a really, really good way to kind of bridge a big leap by trying something, learning something new, and not necessarily having to make it official, right? Another way is freelancing. That's an easy one. And, you know, again, there's many steps you can take to freelancing. You could start by just doing a one-off independent project for someone in your network or someone who's looking for skills that you have. And that could develop into more freelance work, or it doesn't have to, right? The goal for this is really for you to put your own skills to the test, to build more confidence as you do it, and to kind of understand what it could be like to apply your skills for a different type of role or position or opportunity. And then last but not least, or actually no, two more. One more is that you can upskill, right? You could enroll in a course, you could join a Toastmasters club, whatever it is. You could see what skills you have that you want to level up, or you could see what skills that you're missing that you know if you could just add it to your little repertoire, it would open up a whole new set of job opportunities for you. So you might just focus your career pilot on upskilling yourself. The last one is to really start thinking about your personal brand. And this is such a huge topic, not one that we can even scratch the surface on tonight. But I want to give you an easy way to think about this right now if you're focusing on baby bold steps, right? So a good way to think about this is, what accomplishments have you recently had that you can start to share on a bigger platform? And by bigger platform, I mean beyond just your team or your organization. It could be a public speaking gig. It could be posting your slides on SlideShare. It could be contributing as a guest writer to a print magazine, to a blog. It could be sitting an interview on a podcast, or it might just be posting something more, I guess, content-driven or value-driven on social media, on the existing channels you're already on, you know, and just sharing a little bit more about the work that you do, or something you believe in, or something that you want, a message that you want to share with the world. That's already the beginning of your personal brand. So one question I'm going to leave you with in thinking about your personal brand is, how are you sharing knowledge or adding value and showing up outside of your everyday work? Okay, I think that's a really good question to think about for you guys, and just take that forward this week. And whenever you get a chance, take a pause, ask yourself, is there something I could be doing to share knowledge, add value, or show up better outside of my everyday work? And we'd love to hear your thoughts. So, you know, once you finish this, you know, hop on over to our page or to our Career Shifters group, wherever you feel comfortable to share, and tell us what you think. Because I, for one, and I'm sure Grace as well, would be super interested to hear that. So that's it from me. And Grace is going to share some practical additional tips to help you get into action.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, it's great to, you know, for us, I think, to really share all about a career pilot, because that's a question that we get asked all the time. So we're going to share some tips on how to get started with a career pilot. And the first most important tip, as with everything that we, you know, talk about, is about getting in the right mindset. If we don't get our mindset right, it's really hard for us to even contemplate or even start moving forward. So with that, you know, what you needed to look at and try and think about it for this week is, where can you focus on possibilities and growth, you know, and try and cultivate a more possible or a more growth mindset this week, right? So tip one is get in the right mindset. Okay, look at possibilities, look at opportunities, look at areas for growth, and keep that growth mindset. Tip two is like focusing on building your strengths. Oftentimes, you know, when we're going through transition and we're thinking about transition, we tend to focus more on our weaknesses and think, oh my gosh, I have all these things that I need to do, versus focusing on our strengths. So this week, maybe try and bring a bit more awareness to your strengths and think about the tasks or aspects of your role that you are really, you know, passionate about, or that you just do naturally really well. And what would taking that skill or that experience or your experience to the next level look like? Tip three, it's about being strategic in piloting or career piloting your, or designing your career pilot, right? So I'm going to share a couple of 5 steps from this, which is an exercise from this book, How to Find a Job, Career, and Life You Love by Louis Efron. We'll share that in our recap blog post. But this might help you to start thinking or frame your thinking and your planning. Okay, so it's just 5 simple steps. So if you have your pens out, get writing down the notes. Step 1 is list all the jobs that you've had in your life and mark the ones that you've enjoyed the most with a star or a different colored pen, whatever. And then rank those jobs, all the different jobs that you've started from most enjoyed to least enjoyed, and make a few notes about why. The next part is to make a list of jobs that you've always dreamt of or wanted to try or that you wish you could do but haven't really had the courage or opportunity to attempt, or perhaps you don't even have the experience, right? Next to each of those jobs that you've listed, write down why you haven't tried them and what's stopping you from attempting them now. The third step is to force rank each of the jobs you've listed from most interesting to least interesting. That's probably going to be a little bit of a tough one for some people, but really, spend a bit of time on that. The fourth step is think of all the ways that you can pilot or test your top job of interest and develop an action plan and timeline to make it happen. And the last step is start taking notes of the aspects of what you liked or disliked for each job and whether it's something you want to try again or cross off your original list. So they're pretty simple 5 steps, right? A great little exercise for you to do in order to be strategic about your career pilot design. And once you've completed those steps for your top job, really work your way down your list to try each possible job or, test or, research or even speak to someone, whatever it is, and keep a journal as you go to reflect on your experiences, your aha moments, your takeaways, all of that, right? And I think a big point is just to remember not to hurry to try and get everything done, right? We're not in a race, so don't be in a hurry to tackle everything at once. Everything takes time. Slow and steady wins the race. Good experiments take time. You want to gather information. You want to think about things. You want to sit on things a little bit. You want to be able to analyze the results and continuously make improvements, or, as you get more takeaways about certain things, start narrowing down further what it is that you're really wanting. From that, it'll really help you to clarify your direction and see what really fills your cup and what makes you happy in your career or what would make it better. And I think that's a great exercise for anyone to do if they're feeling stuck in general. And I love prioritizing 1 to 3. I always do 1 to 3, 1 to 3 for things, and so this is like, if I was stuck in a job, I'd probably do this. Tip 4, we've got 2 more tips about how you can, get started with your career pilot. Tip 4 is create a vision for your bold career that inspires you. And you guys are in luck because our free 5-day challenge starts in 2 days. And honestly, I think Salonia touched on this a little bit earlier, but it really is a pretty amazing challenge and it's free. It comes into your inbox. You've got videos that you can watch. It's not live like Salonia mentioned. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but when else are you going to have the time where you have an opportunity, if you're watching this right now, where you have the opportunity to create a vision for your bold career that inspires you with a group of other people, right? And this is something that we rarely take time to do. So if you haven't yet, we'll share the link to our 5-day challenge, which starts on May 9th. Tip 5, final one, is we have so many resources at our fingertips, right? I mean, we have books, we have Google, we have friends, we have LinkedIn, all of these sort of things. Use the resources around you and, just explore and really try and maximize the value of any of those resources or networks. Google, job listings, LinkedIn, your friends, chambers of commerce, communities, all of these sort of things, right? That's where you can also find people or ways that you could pilot your career change or career design. Okay, so that was 5 long tips, 5 pretty short tips, but the biggest one for you to really think about is tip 3 and tip 4 on visioning and, doing that little mini exercise of ranking 1 to whatever.
You do love prioritizing, Grace. Whatever. All right. Well, okay. So you've got some juicy 1-2 tips from, or 1 to 5 tips from Grace, and we're about to wrap up. So I hope that tonight's session has given you some ideas and inspiration for why and how a career pilot is so important for anybody who's thinking about getting bolder in order to grow and advance themselves in their careers, and also personally. But as we've kind of said a couple times already, you know, that's really why we've designed a 6-week immersive course to help you confidently create your bold career move. And it all culminates in a 60 or 90-day career pilot plan that is completely aligned to the themes, interests, values, and strengths that define your career past, present, and future. So we've given you some tips for you to get started with that in your own time, and you can take your baby bold steps, you know, week to week if you'd like. The difference with the course is that, you know, you're really dedicating 6 full weeks to carve out that time to be guided through a process that we know works, and to be given tools that, you know, you can take and use right away or adapt for whatever your needs, and you can do that at any time in the future as well, right? So it's really to give you that 6-week experience, but no doubt you're probably going to hit another crossroads at some point in your career or in your life, and our hope is that by that point you'll have the experience, the tools, and also a support group that you can always go back to help you move forward. So that's about the course. And as we said, enrollment opens up in a week. So we'll be sharing more of that online as you see us on Insta and Facebook. But that's what you need to know, and why it and how it sort of connects to tonight's episode, which is all around career piloting. Now, like Grace said, we have so many resources available at our fingertips, and that's also why we at the Change School try to mix things up. We also want to make a bunch of value-packed resources available to you for free, and that's why Change School TV, the weekly episodes, are really designed to just give you that weekly inspiration and motivation to take action. We also have our free Career Shifters group, which continues to grow day by day, week by week, and you know, people are in there sharing their journeys, sharing their resources and tools and inspiration with each other. So that is something you can and should tap into wherever you are in your journey right now. And Grace has already mentioned the 5-day challenge we've got coming up in 2 days, but I really encourage you guys, again, I want to stress that, you know, I don't know how many times we've heard people tell us, you know, I'd love to create a vision board, but I don't have the time, or I'd love to really like clarify this vision I have for my future, but you know, I'm so busy. And we get it, right? We know how hard it is to make that time. And that's exactly why we're running this 5-day challenge, and we're making it self-paced this time around, so you can go at it however that works for you, and you can keep doing it as many times as you want at any point that you need to. And then last but not least, as we've said, we have a full week of 90-minute free master classes being run by Grace and myself starting this Saturday, all the way till next Saturday. And we've got 3 topics we're going to share in a moment, and they're really designed to give you actionable, practical tips and tools to help you move forward from whatever crossroads you're at, or whatever sort of, you know, barrier you're currently facing when it comes to being bold in your career. So more on that in just a minute, but just again to let you guys know that we've got so much coming up, and I really hope you guys take advantage of it, use it for whatever purpose or mission you're on right now in your bold career. And do not forget that we are 1 week away from our bold career course. So if you're not on our early interest list, do head over to bit.ly/boldcareer and get on there, because as soon as we open for enrollment, we're only going to be letting people on the early interest list know first, because we have a 48-hour flash sale discount. So they get first dibs because they're such eager beavers, and we love eager beavers. And so they'll get first dibs. And as we've seen in the past, the seats, if not all, mostly go out in the first 48 hours. So even if you're just curious at this point, get on the list. If you want to know more information, get on the list. And if you want to register, just get on the list. bit.ly/boldcareer, and we will share that later on as well. That's it from me.
Awesome. Awesome. We're going to definitely get on the list is the core message for this last part. But I was just checking, while Sol was talking, and I was seeing a lot of people just registering to our masterclasses and our 5-day challenge and our wait list. So I'm seeing people coming in as we talk right now, even though we're not live. As we had planned, but it's great to start seeing so many people signing up just, in this last 10 minutes. It wasn't that I wasn't paying attention, but I just simply happened to see a lot of things coming in at once. All right, so let's recap. As always, we know that we usually provide you with, a bunch of different tips and resources or value, right? But this month is super action-packed, right? We told you that last week. We mentioned it a little bit at the start of this episode as well. And we don't want to overwhelm you even more, but we do know that what we're going to share or what we're sharing with you is going to add value and is going to help you, whether you join us in the free 5-day challenge, in our masterclass, or whether you end up joining us for the paid online course. In any one of those, you are definitely going to have some significant value. And if you're committed and ready to make that bold move, then join us in any one of those ways that you can. But everything that you need to know about our value-packed freebies, are you ready? Because I am going to rumble through this list of what we have for you. Better take a deep breath. Okay. So as Selenia mentioned, this Wednesday we have a 5-day challenge. It's a free 5-day challenge online. So everything is going to be sent to your inbox. You're going to get an action every day, and it's going to send you to our online platform. We're going to see a beautiful video every day explaining what you should do and helping you move through. We won't be running the challenge live, as Sol mentioned, but you will have lifetime access to this. Well, what lifetime access means is basically for as long as we do the challenge or continue to do the challenge. And you can head on over to bit.ly/BCM Challenge 2. If you do sign up, you need to double opt in. So what that means is you'll get a notification email saying, welcome, you are in, we need some action from you. And what that means is you have to open that email and not just swipe right to put it, in your archives, is you need to open it and you need to click confirm subscription. Because if you don't click confirm, if you don't click confirm subscription, you will not know what to do next, and you will not get the login details for our challenge, and you will not be on the radar for when we open our challenge. So we're just trying to make sure, because this is new for us too. And then moving forward from this Saturday, Sol mentioned as well, but we're recapping and we want to make sure this sticks in your brains, right? In your minds, is that we're giving a week full of free live workshops or live masterclasses online. And the first one starts this Saturday. So from this Saturday, 12th, to the following Saturday, you have a live masterclass pretty much every day. We aren't going to overwhelm you with all the links. You can read and sign up for all of them by clicking to our Facebook page and just finding the events section on our Facebook page. And there are all of the events. By just clicking on going does not mean that you're going to get the information. You actually have to go in and you have to read the information and sign up to the bit.ly, because I know a lot of times you're scrolling on Facebook and you see an event and you go interested or going, but because you need to sign up, you have to actually read the information in there. But just quickly, the 4 topics, the 3 topics, as Sol mentioned, were carefully created to really talk around the 3 biggest career myths that we always hear about and in our work with our students. And they're determined to help our bold career movers overcome those big moments for them, right? So topic 1 is how to make a career shift from a non-tech to tech career. That we are only running once. Remember, the point here is that you don't have to have directly related experience to make that career switch. Or to make a career move. It can happen. Topic 2 is it's 3 simple strategies to discover your next career direction. So this is a super popular one that we've had in the past, and we're bringing it back for more. So be quick to get yourself on the webinar list if you're interested in that. Topic 3 is a new one for us, which we're really excited about, and it's how to reinvent yourself for a career change, right? So the idea here that we're going to talk about is, you do not need to give up everything you've achieved to reinvent yourself or your career. And for topic 2 and 3, you get 3 chances to catch us, which means that if one, you sign up and you don't join, well, then there are 2 other options, but bear in mind that other people are also signing up. And that means that you have no excuses for not joining us and no excuses for not having a support system to help you kickstart your bold career move, because we are full of that for this next week, right? And now is the time. So that's it for me about all the amazing value-packed freebies that we have for you. And I'll pass it over to Sol.
Cool. Thanks, Grace. I know that's so much info, guys, but we tried to lay it all out, repeat it here and there, so you just have it in your head. Hopefully you wrote it down. And like we said, you can find all this information on our Facebook page. So no worries if it's already forgotten. So we are about to wrap up. Just a reminder, we won't be seeing you here next week because we're going to be all over the Facebook universe to deliver all this free value for you to help you start building your bold career. And we'll probably be popping up ad hoc if we don't have any more technical issues to remind you what's coming up when it's happening. So look out for that. But otherwise, Change School TV episode 30 should be our next one. We'll be back, same time, same channel, hopefully with no issues, on Monday, 21st May. And we're going to have a very special guest, one of our boldest humans of change, Kimberly West, to hear her story of change and how she became her very own bold boss. So more on that in a couple weeks, and we'll be seeing you around in the meantime.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.